those people,
과정을 나온 사람,
because the people that finished from that vocational school,
대학을 나온 동물로 인정한다.
they were recognized as people who had completed. Tang, tang, tang.
그렇게 결정을 했으므로
So
아버님은 와세다 전쟁
So
시대에
that's basically those people who finished those high school were actually, during the wartime, they were accepted as people who have graduated from university at that time. So yes, he graduated from there as a university student.
Understand?
Do you understand?
제가 확인했어요.
I checked it. I had to.
그래서 아버님은 이때에 전기공학을
So at that time, he studied electrical engineering. Why do you think he studied that? Because in the future, religion must be able to prove that God's incorporeal world exists, and that will only be able to be done through science and technology. So it's very hard to prove an invisible God or invisible person. Something invisible. So if we look at the creation, we can see the characteristics of God. Isn't it? Plus and minus. Because of So again, by studying in this electrical engineering, he said he would be able to prove or find a way. Because there's plus minus in everything.
단극까지는 안 되고 마이너스를 만나서 양극이 작용하고.
So again, minus by itself is useless, but plus has to meet with minus, and then so those kind of things he would only study and be able to understand completely in electrical engineering. So you can't really explain this plus and minus, but you can see in action. So, to be able to explain it in such a way that human beings can understand and prove, he said he's going to study. In such a way that people can be able to understand, he wanted to prove it. So, that's why he studied here. This is something that he wrote. This is basically his. That's one of the writings he wrote, explaining the relationship between God and God and as a parent, God, humankind, and child. That's his graduation picture.
여러분들은 이 사진을 쉽게 보시지만
You see it really simply, but
저는 이 사진에 굉장히
많은
노력을 했고
I made a lot of efforts to be able to find this picture.
여러분들 저 비디오를 보시면 먼저
You see, if you saw the picture before, there are some the answers. It's easy to see it, but
이 2차 세계 대전 때는 전쟁 시대였기 때문에
before the Second World War, because it was still, because there was a lot of problems, no one could really know or see or have the things that had happened during that time. Everything was lost. Most of the things were lost, the documents. So later, in order to find these documents, we had to find lots of different people that were actually in the university at the same time. So father, so that was one of the proofs. That's one of the proofs that he went. There was so there was no one that had this album. Oh, album. Sorry. Yeah, no one had this album. So then we started searching for the, not colleagues, the classmates. So again, we looked for firstly we looked for the main people that were there. So then we found 10.
3명을 남겨놨는데
And then there were
7명을 다
Three.
찾아서 없었어요.
that we found.
마지막 희망이
But the last
3명인데 이 3명이 갖고
They were
있다라는
not there.
보장이 없었습니다.
So there was no, we could not find any proof from those 3.
그래서 우리도 정성을 많이 들였습니다.
So we also made lots of
2명을 3명 중에서 2명을
conditions
만났는데 없었어요.
to be able to find
마지막 한 사람이
the
있는데
different
그
people,
사람은
the
두
different
사람은
class
다른 데 이사를 많이 가갖고
classmates, and then we found one person. At the end, he had moved to different places. Of course,
그래서
it was hard to find. The addresses had changed, and they were in Japan. Things had changed.
계속 연락을 하면서
So we searched in different places and asked. So we went to Japan. I went to Japan many times and tried to find. Do you know if this person, you met this person? Do you know if that person lived here? No. And then only one person at the very end could find the last address of the person. And then he had that kind of belief. So then he kept searching because he had this picture when in his album where he was showing and saying, oh, this is my, he was talking about his classmates all the time. So this one person had it. So he said, oh, are you? So then I asked him, so do you have the picture actually? He said, he looked at me strangely. Why are you asking that? And after we explained after a long explanation, and explained the whole process, he went to the top of his house, the very top where we hide things. Attic, yeah, thank you. So he went to the attic and found something wrapped up with a plastic bag, and it was an album. And the moment I saw the album, I was so shocked. I was out of breath. Wow, in that picture, there was a picture of someone that we were looking for a very long time. It was True Father. So I looked, there you are. He is there.
Oh my God.
Let's clap.
He was worried that he's not there.
그래서 이 앨범을 찾게 됐고.
So I looked at that picture. I looked at the album.
그 앨범을 갖고 있는 그분에게.
So and then I told this person.
이 앨범을 저희들에게 3주만 빌려주세요.
Can you just borrow me that album for 3 months? For 3 weeks, sorry.
우리가 당신에게 어떤 근거를 남기라면 법적인 근거 사인도 다 하겠습니다.
If you want me to give you any kind of identification or any legal, I will give you whatever you want. I promise you, I signed here, I'll give you after 3 weeks. And then I came back to Korea.
이제 인쇄소를 여기저기
So then, of course,
이때 그 앨범하고
after this, with this picture,
그 질이 같은 페이퍼가 있는
there's a very old printing press that has exactly the same paper, the same quality paper. So I knew that it came from that kind of press. So after I went to this printing press that had a similar print of the album picture, I said, let's copy it exactly as it is. I want it exactly as it is, and I did 21 copies. And compared to the original one, it was very clear, the picture. Because it's a better technology at the moment. So the new album, I took 3 of them.
그 원본하고
And with the original copy,
저는 일본에 갔습니다.
and I went to Japan.
그리고 그 앨범 주인에게 얘기했습니다.
I told to the owner of this album, teacher,
두 가지를 펴놓고
look at these two.
어떤 것이 진본이죠?
Which one is the real one?
그 사람이 이제 보더니
He said, wow,
어떻게 이렇게 똑같이?
how can it be the same?
이게 더 좋다.
That is even nicer.
새로 만든 거 보고 더 좋대요.
The new one is even better.
그래서 우리는 그 사람의 심리를
So we told this guy,
이용했습니다.
oh,
미안한
We used
이야기지만.
so we used their psychology.
새 것이 훨씬 좋죠.
The psychology, the new one is better, isn't it?
선생님 어때요?
Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, of course. He loved the new one.
그리고 아버님을 소개했습니다. 당신의 동문이 이런 분입니다.
So I said, this is one of your friends. He's this kind of
이것은
person.
역사적인 내용이죠.
That's a
당신
historical.
개인이 갖고 있기에는 정말로 이것은 엄청난 그 역사적인 해석이 들어가는 내용이기 때문에
So of course, because this
개인이
comes,
갖고 있기에는
this is very providential.
내가 이 새로 만든 것 두 권을
So
이렇게
he said to the true father, this is for your friend. Look at that. And he just took the other one. He did not want again the old one.
아주 기분 좋게 해서
But then true father was very happy about that.
새 것 카피본 두 번 하고
And then of course
원본 받고 왔어요.
I did 2 copies of the old one and I came back with the original.
그리고 세 번 가지고 왔다 그랬죠.
I said I took 3, yeah.
와세다 대학교에 기증했어요.
So I gave 1 to Waseda University. Let's clap for him.
그래서 원본을 가지고
Thank you.
아버님에게 보고를 하니까
So and then I gave it to.
아버님 입이
I reported to true father.
기분 좋아가지고 그렇게 해서 찾은 앨범입니다.
And that's how I found this picture.
그렇게 어렵게 찾은 앨범이기 때문에 우리 마음속에 있는 앨범인데요.
So then this album is precious to us and it's in our mind now.
하시면서 독립운동을 하셨어요.
So Korea, true father went to make the independence movement.
왜 이래요? 독립운동? 항일 독립운동을 하시게 됐는데 앞에서도
So he made
설명했지만
underground independent activities.
바나바와 예수가 실패했던
So as I said, because
반복하지 않은 거.
he didn't want to repeat the mistake of Barabbas and Jesus,
해방 이후에 민족
and he wanted to he joined into the underground activities with Korean students
독립운동을 하시게 되고
in
신사참배를 안 했던 비신사참배파와 하나 되어서
and the foundation of national forces and liberation groups, and because he didn't want to be any part
그
of
사람들과
that,
하나 되어서
and also
독립운동을 하시게 됩니다.
because he was someone that wasn't worshipping in those shrines,
생명을 걸고 이 김구가
he put his
차이나에 있었습니다.
life on the line
중국에
and went to China.
거기서 캠프를 차리고 독립운동을 했기 때문에
And because he had done independent activities, he couldn't
목숨을 걸고
stay in Japan anymore. So
바나바와 예수가 이루지 못했던
and he
것을 목숨을 걸고
and again
평강복게 하는
he did that just to be able to restore and so that it would not be repeated the story of Barabbas and Kumgo and Jesus. Sorry.
독립운동을 하시게 됩니다.
So that's him doing similar.
그때 당시에 독립운동
That's how it was.
단체 이름은
So at that time,
이 코리안 그 당시에
the independence movement was called Yongbong
뭐라 그러냐면 엽전이라고 했어요. 엽전.
Yeopjeonhue. It was called,
그래서 엽전의 해라고 이름을 붙였어요.
and you can see where that money is.
왜 엽전의 해라고 붙였냐면
Why did they call it Yeopjeonhue? Because it's Korean
Old money.
old money.
일본 사람들이 일본 형사들이 계속 이 독립운동을 하는
So the-
젊은이들을 감시를 하는
So of course we had to hide because the Japanese would see them.
그
You know?
감시를 피하려면
So
어떻게
in
돼요?
order to be able to hide, how would they do this?
뭔가 암호가 필요했어요.
So they had to find a reason.
그 암호가 뭐냐?
So what was the reason? What was
일본
the?
사람들이
So they told the Japanese.
일본 형사가
Oh, they didn't tell the Japanese. They just said,
이제 이 학생들
for
유학생들
example,
야, 오늘
the students in class, they will say, today at 12 o'clock,
어느 방향에서
we're going at this area.
우리 엽전 따먹기
We are doing Yeopjeon Tab, okay, which means we're trying to get some money. Let's go and earn some money today at this time, at this place.
그럼 일본 형사들이 볼 때는
So then the Japanese, when they saw this,
슬로모시 같이 이게 투전을 하는 거잖아요. 투전 도박을 하는 거잖아요. 이 도박의 의미는
so then again, the Japanese saw this,
자기들 스스로가
they were like,
안 하는
oh,
거잖아요.
Money game.
okay, there's a money game, that's it.
그 머리 게임 한다니까.
So they, oh, they're gambling, that's our
Yeah.
pride. So for the Japanese was okay.
젊은이들이
They just,
그러더라 이런 뜻이.
oh, no, just little kids, they're gambling. That's fine.
그러나 그런 암호를 썼지만
So they used that
이 엽전
strategy
따먹기라고 하는 이 도박은
and used the young
모임이 아니라
job here, and
독립운동가들이
that was actually the hidden name
시설을
of
따돌리기 위한
them going on the ground to do their independence movement.
그래서 거기서 모여가지고
So then they meet
독립운동을 논의하는
and
거죠.
then they play
그래서 이름이
the game
엽전회의가
of
된 것입니다.
liberating Korea.
그래서 이 항일 지하 운동을 이제 아버님은 하시게 됐는데 이거 그림이 없어요?
There's no picture? No.
다음에 오케이 야 그림. 아버님은 이 김구와 하나 되기
So
위해서
with Kim Gu, this person, God,
하나 되기 위해서는 목숨을 걸고
true father became one with Kim Gu,
일치를 가져왔어야 됩니다.
and how he left. He left.
아버님은 이 김구와 심정적으로 하나 되고
He became one with Kim Gu in heart, and then he basically gave his life nearly, and because he was gonna hide, because they were gonna find him at this time, so he hid under this train for 14 hours
차이니스까지
to get to China.
밑바닥에서
So like that,
독립자금을 가지고
trying not to be able.
독립운동가 김구에게 가는 것이에요.
So he's going like that to Kim Gu
with money.
with money
그러니까
to deliver money that they made during their independence movement.
일본을 통한 만물복귀는 아버님 와세다 대학 시절부터 만물복귀라는 겁니다.
So basically, actually, when we talk about Manmulboki, which is basically restoring money, how do you call this? Making money. We send second generation to do it. What is it?
지금도 일본에서
STF
성리적인
fundraising.
지원을
Yeah.
만들지만
So basically, fundraising started with True Father in Japan.
그래서 이 독립자금을 만들게 됩니다.
So
자,
then,
이제
yes.
아버님이 남기신 말을 한번 볼까요?
So this is what he said. Let's read together.
자,
Come on, if you die,
대부분의 사람들은 뭐라고 합니까?
so what do normal people say?
나를 위해서 무엇을 해줬느냐고?
What have you done for me?
세계에게
But he is like, what have I done for enough to do something for the nation and the world?
그런데 아버님은 반대 논리예요.
So father exactly is the opposite. He's not thinking like human people. What are you gonna do for me? He's like, if I do something for the nation or for the world, then this world will remember me. They'll be indebted to me.
국가와 세계는 나에게 꼼짝 못한다.
So if I live and die for them, then they will be indebted. He can win their heart. They will surely die back for me.
국가와 세계에게 신세지킨다.
So he was
이런 삶의 노정을 거느시게 됩니다.
that was his mission.
그리고
That's how he
상대를 위해
lived.
죽고자 하면 그는 죽어서도
So he said, even if I
나를
die,
위해 죽고자 한다라고 말씀을 남기셨는데
so if you live and die for the sake of another, that person would die for your sake.
같이 하숙 생활을 했던
So
유구복
there's this guy that he really liked, and I was very close to him, Yu Gu. He was together with him in Waseda University as well, and his father carried his corpse because when he had died.
눈빛만 봐도 통하는
So it was that kind of friend that he just looked in the eyes and they knew what they were, what he meant.
유학까지 왔어요.
They went together to Japan.
이 사람이 독립운동을 하다가
But then while he was doing the independence movement, he could not eat.
폐병이
He
걸려가지고
was very sick. He had a lung disease, and then he died.
전쟁 시대에 아무도 돌보지
It was
않았어요.
very hard during the wartime. No one will help you.
그런 상황에서 아버님은 이 사람의
So at that time, this person, his good friend Yu Guk,
미양선을 타고 대한민국까지 와서
so he took his friend on the back and he brought him back to Korea so that he can have a proper burial.
만약에 이 유구복 씨가 살았다면
So if he had lived, this guy, Yu
아마
Guk,
초대협회장은 되지 않았을까?
he would have been like one of the leaders of.
빨라지지 않았을까?
He would have
그런 생각도 해보게 됩니다.
been.
President of
He would probably be the president of our movement
the beginning.
of the beginning.
그런 분이에요.
So he was that kind of person.
그리고 일본에서 독립운동을 하다 만난 사람이 바로
So when
엄덕문입니다.
in his time during the independence of Korea, they met this person called Om Dok-mun.
독립운동을 하다가
And
만난 사람이에요.
yeah, he's someone he met during the independence movement in Japan.
백한재 나와서 이거 한번 읽어보세요.
Can second generation please come up and read this? Another person.
나와.
Come up, it's alright.
여기 나와.
You, come
자, 한번 읽어보세요.
and read this, please.
Initially, our relationship began as that of a friend and comrade. Later, when I discovered the depth of his world and personality and of his heavenly mission, I began to relate to him as if he were my father instead of a friend. During our student years in Japan, I would always find several copies of the Bible in English, Korean, and its original languages left open in his room. I saw that he had underlined passages in red many times. The books were all worn out, and when he started praying, he would pray for hours at end without any regard to the passing of time.
여러분, 이 엄덕문 씨는요, 바보가 아니에요.
Oh, this Dok-mun is not crazy.
이 양반은 일본에서
This guy
건축공학을 배우고
studied architecture in Japan,
공학, 이 설계사로서
and he was the number one constructor.
그래서 한국의 건축공학을 이야기하려면
So then he said, if
엄덕문 씨를 빼놓고는 시작이 안 돼요.
they would never have started the construction movement in Korea if it was not of him, for him.
정말로
thanks to
수십
him.
년 흘렀지만
Even now.
한국의 세종문화회관을 설계한 사람이에요.
So even now, he's the person that actually
한국의
did
가장 오래된
most of the buildings, all the old ones,
설계한
buildings. He's the one.
근데 이 엄덕문 씨
And this Om Dok-mun,
아버님을 만났어요.
he met father.
독립운동을 같이 했어요.
They did independence movement together.
처음에는 동지로서 만났어요.
First, he met him like a mate,
두
a
번째
colleague.
친구로 변했어요.
Then after, the father became kind of his friend.
친구에서
Then,
형님과 같은 존재가
then after that, he said he became a bit like a
Senior.
like a big brother.
제가 질문할게요.
I'll ask you a question now.
자, 자기의 친한 친구,
So your best friend,
형님과 같은
is he
존재를
like a
부를 수 있는 가치의 친구가 있고
elder brother to you?
더 나아가서
Or
아버지로 고백할
could you
수
even call him?
친구의 레벨의 가치를
like a
갖고 있는
dad?
친구가 있습니까?
Do you have a friend like that?
Not that I can call him that.
없을 거예요.
No, it's hard.
같이 먹고
A friend that you eat together, you sleep together,
똥 싸.
you poo together.
인간적인 모습 다 보면서
So someone you do everything together
처음부터
From the
메시아로
beginning
받아서 만난 사이도 아니고
to the end.
친구에서 형님의 존재,
So someone that's not just your friend,
아버지의 존재
but he's like your father.
고백할 수 있다라고 하는 것은
Is there someone that I can actually
그렇게
confess that you are like that to them or like this? That's how this guy confessed about your father.
인간적인 모습을 다 보여주고도
Even though he showed,
메시아로
he looked like a human being.
고백받을 수 있는
He was someone
존재였던
that could be like a true father, a Messiah. What kind of life
보여주기
did he show to this guy?
아버지로
Of course.
고백받을 수 있었을까요?
What kind of life did he show to be able to be seen as a Messiah or a father?
저는 엄동문 씨를 인터뷰하고
I interviewed Om Dok-mun
그때 일본
3 times.
3
3 days, sorry.
많은 것을 느꼈어요.
And I learned a lot of things.
차라리요 같이 살고 있지 않고
So
객관적으로 누구한테 설명을 듣고
it's,
메시아로 따르기는 쉬워요.
it's very easy to just follow someone without actually living with them. But if you live with them
인간적인
and
모습
you
다 보면서
see everything they do, their lifestyle, their fallen natures, whatever they have, their problems. What kind? It's really hard. So what do you think True Father was? Because what did he show then?
이해되십니까?
Do you understand?
요즘
These
문영진
days,
사회자님께서
현진님,
뭐라고 했어요?
what does he say these days about our True Father?
가장 챌린지가 뭐냐?
So
당신 스스로가 아버지의 아들입니다. 혈통적으로.
So, of course, he knows True Father is his father by blood lineage. But
뭐라 그럽니까?
do you know what he actually confesses?
아버님과 먹고 자고
When
여행 다니고
as he is actually eating, sleeping, and traveling, and even being hit by True Father,
어려운 아이와 같은
when he sees that,
인간적인 모습을 다 바라보면서
when he sees all these things of our True Father, all this,
핵심적인 메시아라고 하는
he can actually
바라보는 것이 챌린지다.
see clearly that he is the Messiah.
직계 아들인데.
It's even the real son.
그 단계를 넘으면서 당신은 그런 인간적인
If we
모습에
go above this level, what type of
그 인간적인 모습을
as a human being, full, how can he confess that True Father is the Messiah, his own father, when he actually lives and sees everything that True Father does and how True Father lives? It's really hard.
저는 우리 그 세계 회장님은
So,
하고
Hyunjinim,
싶어서가 아니라
I don't want to say that Hyunjinim. It's not because I want to
정말로
talk good about Hyunjinim,
아버님의 후계자로서
World president.
the world president.
틈이
Sorry.
없으신 분이에요. 너무 솔직하고 너무 얼큰하고
He's very clear, very honest.
그런 직계 아들도 그런 고백을 하는데
If your own
아버지
child
측근에서
confesses like this about you, like that,
서포트하는 사람들
like he supports True
그런
Father,
가정 속에서 아버님을 직접적으로 삶을 같이 하는 사람
and he lives like this with True Father,
아버님을 메시아로서
and then he says,
고백하고
"This is the Messiah,"
가는 그 모습
with
속에서
no doubt.
아버님의 정체성 아이덴티티
He sees True Father's identity. There's nothing hidden, nothing to hide, nothing.
보이지 않는 그 이면을 볼 수 있는
But he's able to show and testify.
아버님의 삶 속에 녹여져 있는 그 삶을 정확히 이해하지 않고
He is able to
이해할 수 없는 것입니다.
he's able to understand even things we can understand.
자, 그래서 이 엄동문 씨
So
보면서
this
저는
Dongmun.
한남동에 역사 편찬에 있을 때 처음에
So when I was in Hannam-dong and I was studying the history of the
솔직히
church,
처음에 이는 어떤 분인가
I was thinking, what kind of?
아,
So he's sleeping.
엄청나게 연구하고 사이드에 있는 사람을 막
I was trying to
의심하면서
search
그들이 뭐라고
everything
얘기하는지
about the history, everything
처음에는 그런
that.
삶으로 시작했다가 기독교의 기반을 갖고
So
있었고
basically, I have
기독교의
Christian
목회를 했었기
background
때문에
because I was a Christian pastor. So I was really
야,
searching in
정말로
depth for
아버님이 왜
everything
메시아인가?
about our true Father. Is he really the Messiah?
그는 역사적인
So
상황이나
I was
앞에서
looking at
메시아
about
성에서
history-wise,
통해서 삶이 그런
the historical lineage, and also
고백을 하시는 것입니다.
different testimonies.
그래서 아버님이 이제 일본 유학 시절에 가서
So this is True Father's
한국에 있었던 아저씨,
time. These are some people that were with him during when he was in
이노구치상이라고 하는
living in
일본의
Japan.
역사편찬의 사람인데 이분이 사실 많은 역할을 했어요. 역사를 찾는데 저와
His name is Inoguchi.
이분이 이제
Helped a lot
도기
to find
이분이죠.
out all kinds of evidence in Japan.
Yeah, this guy actually helped to find us a lot of evidence in Japan.
자, 일본에 가서
When I went to Japan,
이 참사랑으로 아담의 한계를 극복하는
I have to say that when I was in Japan, sorry, when True Father was in Japan, he overcame one of Adam's limitation. One true one.
하숙 생활을 하는
When he was living in
어느 날이었습니다.
a house,
독립운동을 하신 아버님
he was renting there. and he was doing a lot of indemnity conditions for, actually not indemnity, he was doing a lot of independence movement
그 하숙집 딸이
work, and then he left the house for 3 days, and then he came back, but there was this girl that lived there that really loved him.
근데 아버님이 3일 동안
It was the daughter of the landlord. So after true father left the house for 3 days,
친구들이 뭐 시도 때도 없이 들락날락했고
she came.
아버님이 3일 동안 비었을 때에 한 친구가 잠을 자고 있었는데
There was one friend that was there and sleeping because she was 3 days away. True father was 3 days away, and because this landlord's daughter
그
knew
남자와 잠자리에 들게 됩니다.
true father was away, and then true father was coming back, she died.
She thought he is true father.
Oh, she thought it was true father.
That's
Sorry.
why she
Then
let
she
him.
came to his room.
하숙집 딸
She slept with him.
자기와 관계 맺은 남자가
So she really liked true father. So
아버님이라고 착각을
she didn't. He was sleeping. True father's friend was sleeping in the house, and she thought that she was actually with true father, and so she slept with him.
새벽에 일어나니까
And after 3 days,
실오라게
came-
고치지 않고
he came back.
옆에 누워 있는 것이었습니다.
and he came again. She came again because she realized that it wasn't true father.
나중에
So
알고
she came back
보니까
after 3 days.
그 여인이 착각했던 것은 아버님과 3일 전에 관계를 맺었다고 착각을 했던 것이죠.
She misunderstood.
She misunderstood that he
아버님은
was
그 여인을
3 days away.
그냥 내쫓겨 보내지 않고
So this lady did
그 여인에게
not stop.
하나님의 지금까지 오셨던 내용과 이 타락론에 대해서
So,
그
for example,
여인에게
if we
설명하게 됩니다.
she came back to when true father came, and she lay there,
그것을
and she laid on his bed, and then she came there naked, of course, and she started tempting him. And what did he do? He just started telling her the fall of man.
무엇을 의미합니까?
And then he left. She left by herself.
왜 웃죠?
Why you laugh?
자, 그것은 무엇을 의미하냐면
What do you think that meant?
16세 때
Because
천사장과 관계를 맺고
when
본연의
Eve made a relationship with
아담이 자기의 남편인 것을 뒤늦게 깨닫게 되는 것이죠.
because Eve realized that when she was 16 that Adam was supposed to be her husband.
천사장 루시퍼와 관계를 맺고 나서
So then after she had a relationship with Lucifer,
육신만한 마음으로 아담에게
she
돌아오고
went straight back to Adam in a fearful heart.
하와가 꼬이죠.
But then, of
하나님을
course,
속이고
Adam,
아담과 관계를
He's
맺어서
trying to
she's
seduce.
trying to
seduce.
seduce Adam,
그 타락된 마음을
and with that kind of heart, she came to true father to be able to be comforted.
해와의
So again,
꼬임에 넘어가서
Adam
2차 타락을 했습니다.
Adam actually just fell with Eve.
그 해와의 꼬임에 넘어가면 안 되는 거예요.
True father knew that he cannot let this happen.
그렇기 때문에
So-
원리적으로
So
그
looking at the
여인을
divine principle,
설득해서
he actually just
원위치로
started-
돌려놓는 섭리를 하신 것입니다.
he just started with
제가
the lecture.
사진을 여기다 공개를 좀 하긴 그래서 그런데
I want to show you a picture that I couldn't. I'm gonna show you a secret picture that I found in Japan.
막 돌아가는데요.
I don't know if you can
이
see.
여인이에요.
I actually can't. So this is the lady.
보이십니까?
Can you see? So
The lady was trying to seduce
이거
her father.
that's the picture of the lady that was trying to seduce true father. That's her picture there.
근데 이 여인은
But this lady,
죽었습니다.
she died.
전제는 존재하지 않는 영인입니다.
No, spirit.
She's now a spirit.
Passed away.
Yeah, she passed away.
나중에 아버님 떠나고 나서
When
그
true father
이후에
left,
이 하숙집 부모가 증거
the parents of the house, the landlord, she
타락론은 들었고
after she heard the fall of man, she said she didn't even want to get married to a man.
굉장히
And she just died.
어린 시절. 놀랐어요.
I was so surprised.
죽은 여인이기 때문에 제가 여기 사진은 안 넣습니다.
Because he died, I don't want to put the picture there.
그냥 보여드리는 겁니다.
So I'll just show you.
그래서 아담의 한계 16세 때 해와의 꼬임을 받아서 넘어갔던 아담의 한계를 극복하고
So again, through Father, he overcame this limitation that Adam couldn't during the time of Adam and Eve.
이 여인을
So this lady
설득함으로써
was
he explained.
he did what he did is he explained
아들로 왔지만
very nicely as to why he can't, what her position is and what, why he can't
꼴매에 넘어가면 타락할 수 있습니다.
have relationship with her.
그것의 책임 분담은
And then,
아담
of course,
자신이
this was Adam's responsibility as well. He should have gone this way to Eve, but he
아까
fell
한
for
분이
her.
질문했어요.
So I asked you a question.
Someone else.
Someone asked me a question before.
어머님이 오시. 그리고 참 자녀가
So the two
탄생이 되는
children,
참 자녀는 문제가 있습니까 없습니까?
so
라고
do they
질문했어요.
have original sin or not? That's the question that came in, because true Father is the Messiah. Do the kids have original sin? And then I asked the person back.
자, 본연의 아담은
So original Adam,
죄가 없는 16세 이전에는 죄가
he
없고
didn't have any sin when he was 16. Before the fall, he didn't have any sin.
그 타락하지 않은 하나님의 직계 아들이
So the child of that unfallen Adam,
타락을 한 것은
after they fell,
그의 책임 분담인 것입니다.
His responsibility.
that would be their responsibility.
타락하지 않은 존재로 태어났지만
So of course they didn't.
타락성이 없는 존재지만
So of course they don't have any fallen
원죄
nature,
없는 존재지만
and they don't have any. Sorry, not fallen. They don't have any original
그
sin.
책임 분담은
But their portion of
그것을
responsibility
넘느냐 안 넘느냐
is about
개인적인 책임
them
분담이에요.
personally overcoming this limitation or not.
결론적으로 참아도 완성한 하나님의 직계 아들로 왔지만
As to conclude, true Father as well
넘느냐 안 넘느냐는
also had the
개인
same
책임입니다.
personal
더 나아가서
problem. He had to actually either overcome. So he didn't come with original sin, but he also had to overcome this same thing. So again, the true children, even though they come from someone with no original sin,
타락하고 안 하고는
whether they fall or not, that's their personal responsibility.
understand?
Do you understand?
명확하죠?
Is that clear?
그래서 그 한계를 넘으신 사건이
So this is so again in Japan, he overcame this one limitation.
메시아서 공생의 노정을 가기 전에 반드시 이것을 거쳐야 돼요.
So if you're the Messiah, you definitely have to go through that kind of through that kind of test,
극복해야 되기 때문에.
and they have to overcome it.
그렇기 때문에 아버님은 또
So again,
한 가지 이 조건에 메시아한 이유입니다.
even as a Messiah, he had to go through that. Do you
이해되셨습니까?
understand?
그래서 일본에 가서 한 것은
So what he did in
아까 두
Japan,
가지 얘기했죠. 바라바와 예수가
I told you two things about the Barabbas and Jesus, and about meeting with Kim Gu, and I also told you about
두 번째는 일본의 공산주의와 민주주의
to be able to understand about the ideologies of communism and democracy, and
공산주의 민주주의가
see how
수 있는
they can
그런
become
상황에서 그것을
one, or how he
막기 위해서
can change the communism.
세 번째는
The thirdly,
이 아담의 한계를 극복하는 승리의
it was one more thing to overcome,
그러던 입장에서
which was overcoming the Adam
이
story.
원리를 완성하시게 되는데 이 원리가 창조 원리와 타락론을 완성하시는 것이
So again,
일본 섭리에서 끝나신 거예요.
So in Japan,
16세
the
이전에
providence of
완성한 것은 창조 원리고 타락론까지
the providence of
끝낸 것이
creation
바로
as well as
일본 시대에서 끝난 것입니다.
the providence of the fall was ended in Japan.
창조 원리 타락론을 이런 단계별로
So this
완성시켜 오신 거예요.
he actually completed that step by step in Japan.
아담의 한계를 넘으면서
So-
타락론의 근본적인 그 한계를 넘으시고
So then after overcoming that.
과정에서 1942년
In 1942, on the 6th of April,
영계에서
in-
4대 성인이
he received an official seal from God.
영적으로 아버님이
Saint.
완성하신 창조 원리와 타락론을 놓고 4대 성인과
So the four
토론과
saints-
논쟁이 벌어지게 됩니다.
With the four saints, together with the four saints, there was a debate.
그 논쟁은 12시간이 지나가도
So that,
해결이 안 됐습니다.
Debate took 12 hours,
More than.
more than 12 hours. It wasn't ending.
그 4대
And
성인들도
the four saints
이런 내용들을 제대로 모르고 있었기 때문에
also didn't know anything about that.
찾아낸 이 원리에 대해서
So they tried to find
평가할
out.
수 있는 능력도 안
and
됐지만
They
자기들의 견해를
were not able actually to
계속
understand
논쟁이 벌어집니다.
the divine principle and how it came about with all that. But God appeared and said,
내 아들
"This is my child.
선명이가 하는 말이 맞으니
His name is Sun Myung Moon, and what he says is right. Just follow."
그러면서 창조
And
원리와 타락론을
that's how
하나님의 어인을 받았어요.
that's what he received. He received the official seal
창조 원리와
after
타락론을 인정받게 되고
successfully finishing the creation, the principle of creation, as well as
이때부터 아버님은
the human fall part. And
온 세상에 전파하기 시작하십니다.
so then that's when he started to
Confident.
with lots of confidence, he was able to speak the divine principle. And then that's when he felt that he was the son, he had the father-son relationship. He felt that the father-son relationship is the core of the universe.
이
told to his friends,
작용의 원리는
Do you know what
이름만
the life
바꿔서
is?
나중에 수수 작용의 원리로
He
바뀝니다.
said that basically the principle of the divine principle can be changed to action. What's this word?
Give and take action.
Give and take action. Sorry,
오케이? 네. 자,
as a principle. Yeah.
그리고 일본 이제 동경 유학 시절에도 아버님이 많은 다른 사람을 돕기 위해서 노동을 하시고 한국에서 많은 노동을 해서 어려운 사람을 돕는 그런
So he did lots. He had lots of harsh training and experience in Japan. In Japan.
그리고 아버님 이제 노동을 하시면서 사람의 심리에 대한
So when
그런 것을 깨우치게
in that time he felt the heart,
사랑이란 뭐냐?
and
이런
love.
식으로 내가 너를 사랑한다.
and that's in he understood what the word heart love is.
아버님이 이제 노동을 할 때
When he was working,
하루는 산 꼭대기에 있는 집에
for example,
연탄을
he would
날라야
look
되는데
for a house that was on the top of the mountain,
그산 꼭대기에 있는 집에
and so he would
연탄을 날라줄 사람이 없어요.
he
Just carry the coal.
he would carry things that would go on
유럽에서도 도움이
that mountain, because there are some people that would want to go on that mountain, but they cannot. Hard for them to carry.
그 어려운 지역에 연탄을 날리기
So
위해서
he looks for the very hard people that have a very
이거
difficult life,
몇천 장을 날라주면
and then
너희들이 하루가 걸리든 이틀이
said
걸리든
things-
3일 걸리든 상관없다.
even if it takes 2 or 3 days, it doesn't matter.
이 5천 장을 나누는데 내가 돈을 얼마 줄게.
He will say, "Okay, this is it. If
그
you
돈을 받아가지고
do this, how much money would you pay?"
그만큼 돈을 한꺼번에 많이 벌
So,
수가
for
있어요.
example, he would do those hardest job and then get that much
그래서
money.
아버님은
So, true father.
노인들이 산꼭대기에 많이 살고 있고
So there are many old people that lived in mountains. So he would
도급을 맡아서 하청을 받아서
go and
친구들을
to
데리고
those
가서 이제
places
내가
with
얼마
friends
주겠다
and
이것을
deliver
나누자
things for them.
라고 하고 계약을 하고
He made that kind of
팀을
contract, and then he made a
그
team,
연탄을 날라주시게 돼요.
and then he started giving.
3일에 날라야 될 분량을 하루에 다 끝냅니다.
He started giving
그리고 약속한
anything that would, for example, something that would take 3 days to get to someone, like coal, for example, very difficult jobs. He would do it in 1 day because he made a team.
3배를 주게 됩니다.
So,
3천. 그러니까 그 3배를
so for example, those people were so happy they just give
돈을 받으니까 어때요?
3 times the money
그
because they're so happy.
친구들
So those friends,
나이가
all
많은
those.
노부모를 모시고 있는 친구들도 있고 아주 가난한 사람들도 있고
So for example, there are people, there are old people, there are poor people,
3배를 주니까
and
이
when
사람들이 눈물을
they
흘리고
receive 3 times the amount of money that they're supposed to get, they start crying.
노동의 대가는 하나도 갖지 않아요.
for it.
모두에게 그
So
노동을
he works hard and then he gives this money to these kind
나눠주고
of poor people, and anything he does.
그러면서 아버님이
And
말씀을
this is what he said after this. Let's read this together, please. Heart is
연탄이 how do you spell? I don't know.
that's correct. Cool.
Yeah.
보라고요.
That's it.
심정은 말이 하나예요. 행동으로 주었을 때
So when the heart is not a word, you put it into action,
진정한 감동을
you can be inspired
아버님
and also inspire others.
주는 데 있다.
But
말로도 하는 것이 아니에요.
it's not something you do by word.
오늘 우리가 아버님의 말씀을
So today,
이론으로만 받고
we just took one part of our true father's life. We heard it in our head, but what is the difference between him and us?
아버님은 실천에 나오시죠.
True father does the action.
감동을 왜 아버님에게 받습니까?
So
여러분들이
Why do you
감동을
get inspired by
받았던
it?
do you guys get inspired?
위의 지도자들은 어떤 사람이었습니까?
What kind of people were the
말로
Jews?
했던 사람입니까?
Were there some people that did things by word, or were there some people that lived? What kind of people were the Jews?
행동으로
Were they
느낌을
doing-
받았던 사람입니다.
There were people that actually felt by
오늘
action.
영국 이 땅에
So here we are in
천국의
English.
메시지로
Father's
끝나는
message
것이 아니라 우리가 삶으로서
Should not end
아버지를
here.
원합니다.
We should be able to live it.
자, 그래서 이런 그 하나님을 만나려면
So if you want to meet God,
최저의 자리면 자릴수록 그 감동이 커지고
you have
하나님을 만나는 그 방법은
to go to the lowest position
And the
in,
biggest
최고의
in the,
자리에
and you will get the biggest inspiration in your life.
자, 과학자들이
So
과거는 과학과 종교는 결이었습니다.
So scientists
너무 감동받은 것 같습니다.
괜찮아요.
yeah,
파이팅. 자, 과거의 종교와 과학은
so religion, there's a lot of differences between
근데 현재 과학은 어떻습니까?
religion and the science.
신령 과학이 있습니다.
So
과거의 과학은
the past,
종교를 부인했지만
the past,
최첨단화된
the
과학은
old
사요.
science
하나님을 증거하는 단계까지 왔어요.
went up to a level of
그 과학자는
proving
영국
God's existence.
God's existence.
최고의 자리에서 하나님을 만났을 때,
But the new science
하나님을
actually
느꼈을 때
should
인간이 헤아릴 수 없는 그
should be
이상의
able to actually
세계의
find,
하나님의 느낌을
help us to be able to
발견하려고
feel
발견한
God
사람이 많습니다.
and find
그
and
자리에서
understand
하나님을
God.
발견하는
So
거고요.
in that kind of way, we can be able to understand and feel God. The second way we can find God and understand is by going to the lowest position in life, the hardest. Want to go further down, further down, further down? Then the worst and the saddest place, and in that place God exists. And once you touch,
모든 사람들이 하나님의 느낌과
once you touch those people or that bottom, then you feel God, and everyone else feels God.
최고의 자리에
So,
하나님이 계시고
God is in the lowest and in the highest.
최고의 자리에
You have to go either to the very lowest or the very highest, and you feel God.
평범한 자리에서는
There's
하나님을 느낄 수
no
없어요.
God in just a midway position in normal life.
자, 그래서 아버님이 이때 우주주간 바라기 전에 자주간 완성하라 이런 말씀을
So then again, this another speech that True Father said, before you desire to have dominion over the universe, you must have dominion over yourself.
아버님은 원래 1944년
So in Waseda University, September 1943, he was supposed to actually graduate
March.
in March 1944. But because of the war, and it was not going to happen, the middle school and the high school students ended earlier.
인간 폭탄이죠.
So-
카미가제를 태워서 마지막 최종적으로 일본이 사느냐 죽느냐.
So basically,
전쟁에
they were not
승부를
sure if Japan would live or die. So
그렇기 때문에
because of
조기적으로
that,
시켰어요.
they made the graduation earlier.
그래서 아버님은 1943년
So in
9월 30일 날
1943, September 30th,
하늘의 계시를 받고 아니 그 한국으로
sorry.
오시려고 했는데
In-
하늘의 계시를 받고
he got
이
he came
30일
back
날
to
떠나지 않으십니다.
he came back to Korea at that time, and he got his degree.
배를 타기
When he went on the boat,
30분 전에 하나님의 계시가
30 minutes before,
배를 타지 않으세요.
the
그
God
배는
told
어떻게
him,
됐습니까?
"Don't go on that
바다에
boat,"
침몰해버렸죠.
and that boat actually.
골룸마루
drowned.
사건에 대해서 여러분들 많이 들으셨죠?
Yeah, I'm sure you heard many things like, "Oh, that boat sank." Sorry, not drowned.
뭐 여러분들 다 아는 얘기 반복하면 재미없잖아요.
And if I keep telling you things,
그래요?
어? 아니요, 다르지 않아요.
여러분들 그 생애 노정을 하루 아침에 다 들을 수는 없어요.
So you cannot hear everything in one go.
그렇지만
But,
흐름으로 오늘
flow,
말씀을
yeah,
드리는 것이고 이틀
You
동안
cannot get the whole flow in
이
one.
시간 타임을 맞춰야 되기
go.
때문에
You just
그런
get the
식으로
flow.
합니다.
You'll just be able to
이해를
understand
잘
the flow, and you cannot get the whole
자,
details in
아버님은
one time.
일본 유학을
So here is
이제 다시 중학교
here's his true father after
흑석도모로 오시게 됩니다.
Hukseokdong and Japan.
이때 아버님의 모습.
Look at his when he was back in Korea. What's his face like?
자, 여러분 중학교 시절의 사진 보았고
You saw the pictures
일본에 유학 갔을 때의 사진
before
보았고
when he was middle school. You saw the pictures when he was in high school, and now you see this picture. What is different?
누구 닮았나요?
Blurry. Who does he look like?
님 닮았어요, 그죠?
He looks like Hyunjin.
세계장
Yeah,
World president.
the president, world
너무
president.
닮았어요, 그죠?
Yes, what do you think?
자, 그 아미와 같고 폴리스와 같은 아범의 눈은 없어지고 인자한 모습입니다.
So,
가장 행복한 모습이죠.
so this is again. Look at this. He looks a bit more nicer and more happy. Why do you think that?
충모님의
Because
중매에 의해서
through Chungmo-nim gave him the opportunity to get matched,
시작을 했을
and he had started.
때입니다.
Preparation.
It
for
was
the
preparation for
marriage.
the marriage.
이해되세요?
You understand?
네, 앞에서 다 설명하기 했습니다. 그래서
I explained all that before. So,
이
how-
가시마급이라고 하는 회사에 전기회사에 취직을 하셨는데
so he was in the department of electrical. He was in the electrical department in Kashima Gu,
이 그 전기
Construction?
전공한 사람들은
and the people at
거기에
that
관련된 회사에
place
자동적으로 취직을 시켜줬어요.
were just allowed to graduate. Sorry, to work.
졸업생이기 때문에
And
일본의
because
회사가
he was
한국에
a
있었고
graduate,
그 가시마 곰이라고 하는 전기회사가 한국에 있어서
and
결혼
he
생활을
went to
하시면서
Kashima Gumi
거기에
Construction, which was in Seoul,
다니시게 됩니다.
and he got work there.
자, 이때 아버님이 일본 유학을 갔다 와서 결혼 생활을 하시는데
So then, after he came back to Korea, he started life. Married life, sorry.
발각이 되게 됩니다.
So he had gone through the 8 stages.
그래서 아버님은
So
경기도 경찰부라고 하는 곳에 감옥에 잡혀가시게 됩니다.
So as well, they brought. He was at one point he was brought to prison
고통을 당하시죠.
because of his work in the independence movement.
어느
He
정도냐?
was tortured.
물에다가 머리를
How
치고
was he tortured? They would put his head in water,
아니면
or
주전자에다가
they took the
고춧가루를
the water
With
where
chili
when you
powder.
with chili powder and they put it in his nose,
심지어는 무릎에다 나무를 이렇게 대고
and then they put some kind of
나무를 틉니다.
wood under on his knee,
발을 여기다
and then here comes on.
자, 나무를 여기다 이렇게 끼고
So there's a tree under his between the back of his knees, and then they put some stone on his
여러 가지 형태의
step,
고문을 당하시.
and they hit his thighs.
그들이 원했던 것은 뭐냐면
What did they want? Those people.
운동을 했던 명단을 내놔.
They asked him, give me all the names of the people that were in the independence movement. And True Father, of course, knew like hundreds of people that were together with him. But he knew that if he had actually revealed those names, they would all die.
아버님의 감옥 생활에
So
원칙이
True Father's life in the prison,
He has a principle in prison.
묵비권입니다.
during his time in prison, he was teaching the principle. He didn't
어떠한
speak
상황이 와도 말하지 않는 거예요.
anything that they asked, nothing. He just was
말하지
quiet.
않으면 첫째
That was his main principle. The first,
고문하는 사람이 더 화가 나요.
so you know, first of all, if you speak, then the person that is hitting you or torturing you gets angrier,
아무리
more angry.
말 한마디 안 하니까.
So he doesn't say anything.
처음에는 화가 나서
So
엄청나게 더
of course they will hit him,
더 시팅을 하고
hit him,
고통을 주죠.
because he's not speaking.
안 돼요?
Do you understand?
There's a problem with the mic. There's a disconnect. We hear only from there.
Do you understand? What?
네, 더 고통을 당합니다. 네, 더 고통을 당하기 때문에
So there
아마 그
was
배터리가 다 됐을 거예요. 걱정
so basically because he was being tortured and receiving pain.
아무 말도 안 하면 더 고통이 심해요.
And when he doesn't speak, then the person feels more pain, you know, because
고문하는 형사가 지치면
it hurts.
그 다음부터는
Like, you know,
이놈의 자식은 때려 죽여도
even if I kill this person, this stupid guy, he will not speak. That kind of feeling the person
He
gets,
gets really tired.
and the person that is hitting really gets tired of hitting.
고비를 넘기는 게 중요해요.
So that is very important to go through. But if he has even said one thing,
있는 사실을 다 고백하게 되고
of course they'll make him
두
speak
번째는
more.
형사가
Then secondly,
만들어 놓은 거짓 진술에 따라서
They will create some more stories around those people,
생산되는
and then
거짓말을
things that
만들어내요.
you would not even be able to understand. For those,
말을 한번 시작했다면
if he had just started speaking,
그러니까
because
무조건
of course they
처음에
need
어떻게
reasons to get
말하지 않는 것이
those people.
감옥 생활.
So his life in the prison was to be quiet.
정권에 잡혀갔을
That
때도
was his life under the communist
고통 속에서도
the prison,
이유가
and that was the reason why he was
그
quiet.
때문에 당신의 동지들을 다 살릴 수가 있는 거죠.
So of course I can.
이라도 형사가 고문을 했습니다. 맞쌤입니다, 아버님을.
So this guy, he keeps hitting him,
근데
for example.
아버님은 그 형사를
And
보고
then True Father
그
sees him,
형사가 때리는 매가
sees him hitting him, and he just starts thinking,
무아지경으로 들어가셔서 그
oh,
무아지경 알아요? 무아지경으로 들어가셔서
he cannot.
그 형사의 매보다도 그 사람의 영혼과
So for example, he starts thinking about the future of this person.
저 사람이 나중에
What
해방이
is going to happen to that person?
내가 어떤
How can I
존재인지
liberate that kind of
알게
person?
되면
How can I feel for that person? So because in the future, obviously,
메시아를 때리고
he will understand that he was hitting the Messiah. He will understand that he was hitting the person. So how can I forgive him? How can I bless him? That's the kind of feeling he had. Because he was thinking about that, he wasn't feeling the pain. He was feeling more for the guy that was actually hitting. Very sorry for that guy that was hitting him. And then he started crying.
저 사람도
He said, he thought, oh my God, this person as well
구원해줘야 될 대상이
need to be restored. This person as well need to be saved.
눈물을
And look at that. He's crying because I'm not crying because in his heart, he wasn't crying because he was in pain. But he was thinking about this guy.
그리고 나서
Then,
자 그래서 아버님 여기 얘기했죠. 고문하는
so rather than the whip in his face, Father was more worried about the time when peace would come and how he would have to win forgiveness and blessing for his torturers who were not aware of who he was. That was his life in the prison.
그리고 이 형사가 이제 해방이 되고 나서
When he got freed,
2차 대전에서 실패하고
after
나서
the war
1945년
in 1945, after the Second World War,
일본 사람들이
on the 25th
항복을
of
하고 일본으로
August,
도망가기 시작했습니다.
the Japanese started running away,
근데 대한민국 사람들을
and
죽이고
the Koreans started
고통을 줬던
killing
일본 사람들,
all the Japanese that hurt
한국
them.
사람들은
They would,
돌로
anyone
쳐서
they see, they would just start stoning to death.
많은 사람들이 일본 사람들이 도망가다가
And most of them, they would just grab and kill, because of course these Japanese had killed their whole family.
그렇게 하는 마당에
So in that kind of situation,
아버님은
true father,
그 당신을 고문하고
the person that actually
형사,
tried to hit him, that did torture him and
보따리를
hurt him,
싸가지고
he did his
그
best
사람을
to protect that person,
몰래 데리고
and
나와서 일본으로
hit him, and then told him to run away to Japan. So he helped him run away to Japan.
그러면서 그 일본
And,
형사를 일본으로 보내면서 하는 말이
When that person went to Japan,
내가 이 한 사람을
he was like, I have, this guy just helped me, this one person helped me to run away.
앞으로 해방의 시대에서
But then
내가 일을 할 때
he said to himself, I have helped this one person to run away.
내
So
명령을 따르지 않으면 안 돼.
now, if the Japanese people don't follow me,
일본 사람
then
대표로
because
원수를 살려 보내시고
I saved one person to represent all Japan, and if they don't,
아버님의
listen,
역사
they'll be
시대에
terrible.
이 나오는 이 형사 과연 있을까?
So
어느 날 이로구 지상한테 전화를 해가지고 이로구 지상
torture.
이 사람을 한번
So one day he
찾아볼까?
called the torturer and
wanted
said
to meet.
he wanted to meet the torturer. So he just said, "Oh, shall I go there?"
그래서
And
그때 당시에 일본에서
of course,
파송되었던
in that time in
일본
Japan,
경찰부에 있었던 모든
there were so many names of people in the police records who was there. So he started reading them
왜냐하면
because
아버님이 이 사람의 이름을 써놓았기 때문에
true father had written his name
고문을 당하는 장면이고요.
somewhere.
그 사람의 이름이 뭐냐면
The
구마다
true
하라시라고 하는
father, that
사람인데
person's name
이
was
구마다 하라시라고 하는 사람이 살아있습니다.
Hayashi,
우리는
something Hayashi,
궁금했어요.
Kumada Hayashi, and
드디어 일본 경찰, 일본 동경에서 파송된
And,
명단 중에서
he went finally to the home
선집에 나오는 구마다 하라시를
because he saw that in one of the speeches of True Father, the name of that torturer came out, Kumada Hayashi. So he said,
45년
as you can see, Mr. Kumada is the one in the front there, Kumada Hara.
그래가지고 일본 경찰청에 의뢰를 해가지고
So then I went
이
to
사람이
the
살고 있는
prefecture
것을 알 수가 있었고
to see and find. And then yes, I checked. It was him on the name and him in the house.
그때 당시에 이노구 지상이
And
가게 됩니다.
Inoguchi-san went to his house.
I went to his house.
Not him.
이게 구마다 하라시라고 하는 형사.
So that's his picture here.
이노구 지상의 집. 여기 집입니다.
That's his house.
처음에 가가지고 이 구마다 하라시를 만나서
When I met this person,
당신이 8.15 해방 때에 한국 사람이 살려줘서 한국에 온 형사 맞습니까?
so I asked him, is that true that a Korean person saved you and helped you to go
나는 그런 사실
to
한국에 간
Japan?
사실도
He said, no, I never even went to Korea.
왜?
Why?
자기가 죽인 사람이 얼마나 많아요?
Because of course he killed so many
그
people.
후손이
He killed so many Koreans.
와가지고 자기를 해코지
Many-
죽일 수도 있잖아요.
Many descendants, many people that would see him, they would want to kill him.
그리고
Many
이야기도 안
of the Korean
나고
descendants.
도망가 버렸어요.
And of course, he wasn't even killed and he was able to run away.
두 번째
Next,
이제 그때에 이누구 아니 그 구마다 하라씨의 딸이 있었어요.
So then there was Kumadahara's daughter.
그 구마다 하라씨는 도망가 버리고
She ran away.
딸에게 아버님에
And
대한 이야기를
when she ran, he told the story. I told the story to the girl about True Father, what True Father did to a certain Kumadahara, because Kumadahara had just listened a little bit and left. So then I told the story to his daughter, and the daughter felt so touched and moved. And the daughter said to his father,
그리고 그 다음에
and after that,
그 딸에게서
through the daughter, we got again able to contact Kumadahara, and then we met Kumadahara and again had another interview.
그때 당시에
And at that time,
이름은 모르고
he didn't know True Father's name.
자기가 고문했던 사실
He knew
그리고 그분의
and he
도움을
accepted
통해서
that he had tortured
일본으로
and that someone
살아온 사실
actually did save him
다 얘기를 했어요.
to be able to run back to Japan. He accepted.
자기를 죽이려고 했던 사람을
He said the person that he was about to kill actually saved him.
이분은 지금 이제 평화대사고
So now he's
우리
an
일을
ambassador for
도와주고
peace and he's helping us as well.
역사는
History
살아있고
is alive,
파고들면
and if you
근거를
study more,
남기고 있다.
you will be able to have more records on it or record it more.
역사편찬에 근무하면서
I am
느낀
someone that after studying about the history of the child, I felt many things. One of the things I felt was after meeting Kumadahara. That was one of the things I
그때
felt.
당시에 이 구마다하라 씨의 얘기를 그때 이제 일본 총회장이 임도소 씨였는데
So this is Mr. Lee Young-gu, and of course he
그때
died,
사인 받은 장면.
and he was receiving a signature.
자, 오늘
Today
여기까지 오늘
we will
강의를
do from here. We will stop here today.
여러분, 아버님이 말씀하신 근거를 이게 거짓인지
The different words that True Father says, whether it's the truth or a lie.
어떤 지역을 밝혔든 가보면 그
If you go to that place and check, you will find out if it's true or wrong.
아버님이
True Father,
거내신 도죠.
True Father's path of life,
정말 인간이 이해를 초월해.
it's a life that is very hard for people to understand.
그런 삶을 통해서
But through that kind of life, he did his best to save humanity and to be able to
중학교 시절
protect
고등학교
and follow his path from middle school, high school,
1차 성원을
and
통해서
even
이런 삶을 사신 아버님.
up to, during his whole life.
우리가 아버님의 자식입니까?
Are we true parents' children?
참모님의 자녀입니까?
Are we true parents' children?
적어도 아버지를 정확히 알아야죠.
Because if we are true parents' children, we should be able to know about true parents' life. Then we can be put in the position of being true parents' children.
이렇게 이야기하는 것이
The reason why I'm saying this way is because
이야기하는 것이 아니고
I'm not just saying
하나의 메시아의 삶을 이야기하는
it's not
것이
just as a religious leader,
제가 여러분들에게 아버님을 소개하는 것은
but the reason why I'm actually introducing you to True Father, because I want you to be able to feel the relationship between a father and a child.
그 부모가
And then this relationship,
정확히
once you know this clearly,
아버님은 메시아 되기를
you'll be able to understand. True Father actually didn't want to be a Messiah. What he wants from us is for us to be his children.
자녀는 부모의 삶을 알아요.
He wants us to know his life.
이것이 오늘까지
And this is how I'm going to end it today.
아버님을 증거하는 내용입니다.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Reverend Young. Really deeply appreciate the presentations today. And, I've been sitting right in front here, so I could see his face close up, and perhaps those downstairs also from the camera. He was many times suppressing emotions as he was speaking. But, I feel that's one of the strengths of his presentations. It's not simply that he has done the research and has done gained a lot of information, but really that he's expressing it with such an amazing heart. Okay, so tomorrow we will continue again from 8 o'clock.
He wants us to write our very short reflections. That's the word. Do you have papers to hand out?
David Franklin, if you can hear me downstairs, can you bring some sheets of paper from the office? Maybe Hong Hee, perhaps you could make sure somebody. So yeah, it's good to really share while it's fresh in your mind, the reflections, and take a little time before you leave, those who are leaving. How many, who is staying in Lancaster Gate tonight? You all know where you are. So the sisters use this room. We can just move the chairs a little bit. And then brothers use downstairs the other room, which is being used today. Kent room it's called. And then tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. we'll have pledge here together in the ballroom for those staying here. So again, let's really express our gratitude to Reverend Young for his incredible. Also, one final thing I would like to say is that it's, really we want as many brothers and sisters to be participating here, as many as possible. And I know that some of you have planned to, of course, be at Sunday service in your local communities tomorrow. I would strongly urge you to come here rather than there, because this is so profound and so important. Of course, in some cases you have guests coming and things like this. But I would strongly suggest, and particularly the community leaders, please be here tomorrow. If you have to make adjustments, please do so. This is such an important thing, and also bring also many of our second generation together. Anyway, thank you, brothers and sisters, and God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.